Thomas exposes Deacon's terrible secret. Hope cries and begs Thomas to stay silent. The late afternoon sun poured through the tall glass windows of Forrester Creations, bathing the executive office in a golden glow that felt deceptive, too warm, too peaceful for the storm Thomas Forrester carried inside him. Thomas stood alone, hands clenched at his sides, staring at the city below. Los Angeles buzzed with life, oblivious to the bombshell he had just uncovered. His jaw tightened as the memory replayed again and again in his mind. Words spoken in hushed tones, a file he wasn't meant to see, a name that sent a chill straight through his spine. Deacon Sharp. A man everyone claimed was trying to change. A man Hope Logan defended with unwavering faith. A man Thomas now knew was hiding something so dark it could destroy multiple lives, including Hope's. Thomas exhaled sharply. He hadn't gone looking for trouble. He never did anymore. Not since everything he'd done to Hope in the past. Not since he promised himself, and her, that he would be better. But the truth had found him anyway. And now, it demanded to be heard. It had started earlier that day, when Thomas stayed late to finish sketches for Hope for the future. The building was nearly empty, the halls echoing with silence. He was on his way out when he heard voices drifting from the conference room. One of them was unmistakable. Deacon. Thomas slowed, instinct kicking in. He didn't like the man, not after everything Deacon had put Brooke and Hope through. But Hope believed in him, and Thomas had forced himself to tolerate that. Then he heard another voice. Low. Nervous. Are you sure no one knows? The man asked. Deacon scoffed. Nobody knows. And nobody ever will, especially not Hope. Thomas froze. His heart pounded as Deacon continued. If that information gets out, I lose everything. Sheila wasn't supposed to survive, and what happened after, it was an accident. Thomas's breath caught. Sheila. That name alone carried horror in this town. The words that followed shattered everything. I paid someone to make sure the evidence disappeared. No body, no case. And if Hope ever finds out I was involved, she'd never forgive me. Silence followed. Then footsteps. Thomas didn't move until Deacon and the other man were gone. His legs felt weak. His mind raced. Deacon hadn't just lied. He had covered up a crime. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw Hope's face, soft, trusting, hopeful. She believed her father was a changed man. She fought for him. She defended him against Brooke, against Ridge, against the entire world. And Thomas knew something that could rip that belief apart forever. He told himself it wasn't his place. That getting involved would only make things worse. But the truth gnawed at him like a living thing. By morning, he knew he couldn't stay silent. Not anymore. Hope sat in the design office, flipping through fabric samples when Thomas walked in. She looked up and smiled, one of those smiles that always knocked the wind out of him. Hey, she said gently. You look like you didn't sleep. Thomas swallowed. We need to talk. Her smile faded instantly. Okay, what's wrong? He hesitated. This was the moment where everything could change. Where he could become the villain again in her story, or the man who told her the truth no matter how painful. It's about your dad, he said quietly. Hope stiffened. What about him? Thomas stepped closer, lowering his voice. I overheard something. Something serious. Her eyes searched his face, already filling with concern. Thomas, please don't do this. You've never trusted him. This isn't about trust, he insisted. It's about facts. Hope shook her head. No. This is about you and your past with my family. That's not fair. Neither is you accusing my father of something horrible without proof. I have proof, Thomas said, pulling the folded notes from his jacket, details he'd written down immediately after overhearing the conversation. Hope glanced at the paper, then pushed it away. I don't want to see it. Hope stood abruptly, her hands trembling. Please, she whispered. Please don't say whatever it is you're about to say. Thomas felt his chest tighten. Hope. If you care about me at all, she continued, tears forming, you'll stop right now. He was stunned. Why? He asked softly. If he did something wrong. Because I can't lose him, she cried. Not again. His trying, Thomas. His good now. His finally the father I needed. Thomas's voice cracked. What if that's a lie? She stepped closer, tears spilling freely. Then let me live with it. Let me believe it. She grabbed his hands, clutching them desperately. Please. I'm begging you. Thomas looked down at her hands wrapped around his. He'd spent years trying to earn her forgiveness. Years trying to prove he wasn't the manipulative, dangerous man everyone feared. Now he stood at a crossroads. If he stayed silent, he'd protect Hope, but live with the knowledge that a criminal walked free. If he spoke out, he'd shatter her heart, and possibly lose her forever. I don't want to hurt you, he whispered. Hope sobbed. Then don't. He pulled his hands free gently, pain etched across his face. I can't promise that. Her eyes widened in fear. Later that night, Thomas confronted Deacon at Illinois Giardino. The restaurant was closing, lights dimmed, tension thick. You think you're untouchable, Thomas said coldly. But I know what you did. Deacon's face drained of color. You don't know anything, he snapped. I know about Sheila. I know about the cover-up. Deacon slammed his hand on the bar. You say one word, and you destroy Hope. Thomas met his glare. You already did. The moment you lied. Hope sensed it the next morning. The shift in the air, the looks exchanged, the silence that screamed louder than words. She confronted Thomas again, her voice breaking. You promised, she said. I promised to try, he replied. But I won't protect a lie that could hurt more people. Tears streamed down her face. I trusted you. And I love you enough to tell the truth. Those words shattered her. When the truth finally came out, when evidence surfaced and Deacon was forced to confess, the fallout was nuclear. Hope collapsed into Brooke's arms, sobbing uncontrollably. I begged him, she cried. I begged Thomas to stay silent. Brooke closed her eyes, pain mirrored on her face. Across the room, Thomas watched, heartbreaking. He hadn't wanted this. But it was done. Days later, Hope stood alone on the Cliff House balcony, staring out at the ocean. Thomas approached slowly. I'm not here to justify myself, he said. I just wanted you to know. I'm sorry. She turned to him, eyes hollow but calm. You didn't betray me, she said quietly. The truth did. He nodded. I don't know if I can forgive you, she continued. But I know you weren't wrong. For the first time since the secret surfaced, Thomas allowed himself to breathe. In Salem, no. In Los Angeles, secrets never stay buried forever. Thomas Forrester learned that doing the right thing doesn't always feel heroic. Hope Logan learned that love doesn't always protect us from pain. And Deacon Sharp learned that the past always catches up. As the waves crashed below, Hope whispered to herself. Some truths destroy you before they set you free.